baseball and big crowds, and try to hold in the track there in the back, so that it doesn't affect the TV, but otherwise we can yell all the, just kidding. With that, I call a meeting to order, regular meeting addendum. There's one addendum, which will be item A, and the rest of it under administrative business. And then that B, C, and D will follow, so the numbers will be little on it. It's Wednesday, February 4th, at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, boardroom in Hibbing. With that, we'll move to item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you would. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. Checking on public comment. There is none. With that, we'll move to item 4, administrative reports, item A, directors.
I just wanted to give a shout out to give some recognition to Ben Hardy and Kason Serjord. They're students here at Hibbing High School, and I know right now they are doing work at the Memorial Building for the hockey games. They do the scoreboard and the videography there, and it just kind of adds to the atmosphere. I also think it's really nice when students get involved in one way or the other, and they're very creative, and it's my understanding too that they did the same thing out at Cheeverfield during the football season, and so yeah, I just wanted to thank them for giving their time to adding to the atmosphere there. So they're doing a great job. So
Very nice, thank you. Anything else? Hearing none, we'll move to administrative reports.
Sam's here, student director.
Oh, student directors. Yeah, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I'm
Just
just telling
testing.
you said that, you know,
Please do.
kids and brothers, yeah. I get to see behind the scenes, and they're trying to make that into a class, so hopefully that goes well. Some other good student news that I'm going to bring up. You know the Jacket Jamboree, we had some fun times. The theme was Disney, dress up. And the people who won was Joey Marchetti and Kenny Nicolan. Cool. And some other things were, today was the first meeting for the prom committee. That'll be on April 18th, and the theme for that is Las Vegas. And last thing, we had our business club meeting today, and we had a rep from Northland Machinery come in and teach us. Other than that, that's it.
Very good, thank you.
Well, I have one more thing.
Go
I'm sorry.
ahead.
I just want to say I heard really good things about the guest speaker. Was it yesterday or recently at the Lincoln? No.
Yesterday.
We had a guest author yesterday.
Matt
Yes.
Eicheldinger,
Okay.
author, yeah.
Thank you. So I obviously didn't get the name, but I heard really good things
It was great.
about that guest speaker. So kudos to who set that up.
Thank you. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll go to item B, administrators and staff. Turn it over to Superintendent Carey.
So we have the Washington staff here to give an update.
All right, thank you, Mrs. McDonald. Mr. Chair, Directors, if you remember or recall way back in October, I think it was October 8th, we gave an update as far as what our West building priorities would be for the coming year. And today we're going to give you kind of our progress notes midterm as far as that goes. So with that is Warren's right behind me. Sorry.
That's all right. All right, our social and emotional update. Lessons continue to be taught in the Media Center at least once a week throughout the year. Lessons are used by our counselor as targeted interventions with specific students she sees. Special education has utilized in our emotional behavior room. All staff have received, thank you. All staff have received general training as well on the 26 in-service that we just had. We are currently in review of the program and will explore other programs as we will make decisions moving forward concerning these targeted resources for use in the coming year.
Hi, I'm Melinda Ruzich. I teach kindergarten at Washington, and I'm going to be speaking about literacy and our win time, which is what I need time. We are now currently just coming up to the end of our FastBridge testing window. That will close on February 6th. That's both reading and math assessments. Everybody will be completed by then. Then as far as our grade level win teams, those scores determine which group that you're in. So we're using those scores to make differentiated groups, and that also determines students that get title services. Another side note is that the Literacy Subcommittee has been meeting, and we are currently assembling about 5 to 7 different curriculums that we're looking into purchasing and going through that vetting process to find our new literacy curriculum using the carry-all dollars from our trainings that we did last year.
I'm Paige Wallace, the speech language pathologist at Washington, and this is our update for Tier 2 and 3 MTSS. We have conducted all student support and referral review meetings up to this point. There have been some success stories with student interventions working. In those cases, the students does not need higher supports in our tiered system. We have also had students progress to higher need of supports in our tiered system. Those students are referred to Tier 3 special education referral and evaluation.
Hi, I'm Denise Massich, kindergarten teacher at the Washington Elementary, and I'm going to talk about the teacher development evaluation model update for February. And we are almost through the formal tenured cycle of observations. There are still some peer reviews that we will be scheduled and completed soon based on availability of subs to assist with this going forward. That's all.
All right, and finally, just an update on our For the Kids committee in our building. We have been working for the last couple of years, working on PBIS incentive programs. This year we kicked off one to reset our year at the beginning of January. We took our 5 letters of pride, broke that up into months. Each month has a focus. January is positive, February respect, March independent, April determined, and May educated. Throughout each week, we also have a focus every day through our morning messages. Monday, we focus on being positive or respectful or independent. The message goes out specific to classroom. Tuesday is lunchroom, Wednesday playground, Thursday friends, and Friday how we can be positive at home for our parents too. So when staff see a student exhibiting pride through these next few months, the students earn a ticket. That ticket goes into a jar in their classroom. Once their classroom earns 15 tickets, then we get to hang an anchor outside of our room to display our progress. At the end of each month, 2 students from each grade level are selected, and they get to come down and have a pizza treat with me. So first month's in the books, and we're already gearing up, and I see a lot of tickets in the rooms and anchors outside the doors. So really a positive influence for our kids. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Washington. That was an excellent update. So Lincoln is here to present now.
Okay.
Hi, we're the Lincoln. My name is Christina Durley Whiteside. I teach 5th grade, but I also run win time with my rotation. So I'm here just to update you on win time. We have some photos here. I got permission from all the students for a picture. But it gives you a good snapshot of what win can look like. So we have been, we did our FastBridge test in January. And with that updated data information, we've been working hard on reorganizing our small groups. It's been really exciting because I'm so proud of so many of my students moving from some risk to on track. So seeing them move into different groups because of that's been great. Also, our title teacher told us that quite a few students, graduated on the title, I guess we could say, so that's been good. We've been using the Fast Bridge plans for improvement when coming up with what lessons to run with our students. Some teachers are also using literature groups, skill support on some current schoolwork. Some teachers are working with some math skills. And also, IXL that we've been using, very instrumental to this, to win time. Keeps students occupied, it provides exercises based on what they actually need, and many of us have been using that. Yep, some photos in action, small group, and then the independent time.
I'm Nicole Fagerstrom. I'm a special education teacher at the Lincoln. Mr. Schneider had come up with an idea to create a WIN room. And so very similar to the room of requirements at the high school, we are creating a room where students who need like personal items, clothing, jackets, shoes, backpacks, or like personal care. So this used to be a storage room, and the students in my class helped clean up the storage room. And then we went through clothing donations and we washed them. There's a washer and dryer in the basement of the Lincoln. And so my students helped wash the clothes, and then we organized and folded them and put them on hangers. For context, so I'm a teacher for students with developmental cognitive disabilities, or they are on the autism spectrum. And so part of what I teach are functional skills. So this was like very well life skilled of teaching kids how to hang up clothes and fold clothes and organize based on like, would a boy or a girl wear this? I received a $200 ADK grant to purchase all of the storage bins, and they're all labeled, so it's with hopes that once we get in more items of clothing, my students will check and take inventory and then restock the items of clothing. I also received a $250 donation from the PTO for more personal care supplies. So we had ordered little deodorants and shampoos and belts and hairbrushes. So anybody that needs it can just ask to go in there and they can take it. This is kind of phase 1 of our project. I hope for the future there could be a phase 2. And I would like to be able to fundraise or get donations to make meal kits for families. So we could put together like a bag, and if there's a family in need, you could just discreetly hand them a bag and here's a meal kit of items.
Here we go. I'm Sue Reckmeyer, 4th grade teacher at Lincoln. I wanted to update everyone on our SEL, or Social Emotional Learning plan over at the Lincoln. We are teaching lessons on rotation during library specialist time, so a lot of kids are getting that social emotional learning piece at least once a week with our media specialist, Jen Hildner. Many teachers are also incorporating it into their own classrooms. I have had the opportunity to be part of trying to pilot the everyday speech curriculum last year, and I found it was super helpful for my students. Just talking with my colleagues, and I think if you were to speak to any teacher across the district, the social emotional piece for students is really, really important. We're not going to be able to hit those math goals or those reading goals if we are not meeting their needs socially and emotionally. What we're seeing is kids coming in that just don't have the coping skills for even just everyday disappointments or knowing how to discuss issues with an adult or a teacher, resolve conflict, working groups and things like that. And so what a lot of teachers, including myself, have been doing at the Lincoln is incorporating the social emotional learning piece with our morning meetings, where we go through how to do group work together, how to communicate effectively when we have a problem or an issue or a question. how we can turn our day around when we've made a mistake instead of just completely shutting down. How we can work through that and come back to a space where we're at a level of ready to learn. So that has been huge, a huge piece in my classroom and throughout the district, being able to use those pieces to help meet our students where they are. It's been preventing behaviors, enhancing our academic time, and really has helped with building relationships with adults and other students in the building.
And then we've been doing our Tier 2, Tier 3 meetings twice a month. It's been really nice. There's a rotation of teachers. I myself have gone twice this year. The big thing I want to emphasize is the collaboration that this opportunity has given all of us to really participate in this process. And
The goal of the Tier 2, Tier 3 meetings are to really see if there's a student who would need special education services. It's a big deal to be referred for and like to qualify for special education services, so this is allowing teachers and families to really go through the interventions and to make sure this is something that they need to consider for their child or not, rather than just saying, oh, I think your kid has a learning disability. That's like a big label to put on a kid, so we want to make sure that we're doing all the steps that we can to help kiddos, and then if that support is needed, we're making that referral and doing what we need to do.
And what's really nice about that piece is the collaboration. If you bring a student that you are concerned about, you get feedback from the entire team with different interventions that you can try before you take the route of suggesting that there might be another piece that they need. So.
And then Shannon Rocco isn't here today, she's out sick, but she made this really awesome cell project with her 7th grade science students, where they spent several weeks designing different models representing different aspects of our cells, and then she put up a whole display out in the hallway. So there's the topics. It brought the whole school together with the display. So she had these out in the hallway next to the office, and all of the students could interact with them and look at them. But you can see, and Shannon actually spent a lot of her own money for these materials. Like, she is a wonderful teacher. Your kid would be so lucky to go to her class. So more projects. I wish, does she have a picture? The microscope. So she had slides with microscopes out, and you should have seen the kids. Like, they didn't even know what a microscope was before it. So they were so pumped to look at it. It was such a great idea. And I think she had it out, was it 2 weeks? A week?
Maybe 2 weeks.
I think it was about 2 weeks. It was awesome. It was so great, above and beyond. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, excellent. We have the Early Learning Center.
Hi, I'm Emily Rudolph, and I'm an early childhood special education teacher at the Early Learning Center.
And I'm Courtney Inman. I'm one of the Ready, Set, Go teachers at the Early Learning Center.
So I know last time we spoke here, we talked about the different benchmarks that we use. So as it stands right now, the data that we have from TS Gold is still from the fall. So our data is just being collected now, so we can review it this month to support our students with their individual needs and classrooms as a whole.
We do our classroom team meetings. We do them 3 times a year. It's mainly with our paras in our room, the special ed teachers, the OT, the PT. All of us collaborate and talk about our students and try to set individual goals for them, classroom goals. We work to get interventions in place. Also coming from our Tier 2, Tier 3 meetings, we are talking about those interventions as well. And then everybody in the room just is there to support all of those needs for those students.
So one thing that we've really focused on is our social emotional learning and incorporating everyday speech. So currently, Lori Allison is our specialist teacher, and she really focuses on everyday speech being embedded in the classroom. And then that way all of our teachers can utilize the scope and sequence of her lessons. As she teaches them, then the teachers can build upon it for the next week to make sure that they're focusing on that social emotional regulation, especially at our young age where our children don't have a lot of communication. So being able to teach them those communication skills in order to work on how we can regulate our bodies at a young age and our emotions and making friends.
The next thing is creative curriculum. That's what we use to learn. We are exploring all kinds of different topics throughout the year. These studies, as they're called, range from like 4 to 6 weeks. So we're doing this study for quite a while. As you can see in the pictures, my kiddos are doing the exercise study. So they are learning about lifting weights and what it does to our body when we exercise. We've turned our classroom into a fitness center. We had people from the community come in and teach us how to do karate. So that was really fun for the kids. They love that. But these are really fun. They're really fun for the kids. They love getting deep into all of these fun studies. And there's a question of the day, so we're getting them constantly thinking. And there's just so much that goes into these studies.
And this curriculum is really research-based and play-focused, so it does make it very interesting for the child's learning. But it also is stuff that is that all the things are focused on what children are interested in. Like a ball series, like a ball study, and they have a building study. So it's really awesome that we get to walk around the community and look at different buildings, because then they're really realizing and taking all of that information in and learning about it with what the things that they're interested in, what's around them, just in general. So we did have we had 2 ASD consultants come up. And they supported us with the social emotional, as well as how can we support every individual student that walks through our doors in a variety of ways. And so up here we have a few different items that we've really talked about and looked at with the paraprofessionals, and they trained their pre-K through 3rd grade paraprofessionals, because most of the students rely on a lot of really strong visuals, and making sure our interventions are working even at an individual level, but also at a large school-wide level. So as you can see, like, we have our snow pants routine up at the top, and that's so every child can see that. But then really diving deep into it, we'll even individualize them and make them functional and supporting each child where they're at. And as you can see, we do have some facts from the CDC, because it's just increasing, and we're kind of the first step into welcoming them into our district. So, do you have any questions for us?
Very nice.
I just want to
Thank
say
you all.
that today was going to be a very heavy meeting. We had some difficult information to share, and honestly, these presentations have made me a little bit emotional, which is not something that happens very often for me. But I just want to say, like, no matter where we're at as a district, the amazing things that we have going on in all of our buildings, we have so much to be proud of and so much to lift us up, even when we're in a difficult time. We're going to get through all of this because of all of you. So thank you.
If I may follow up with that, I'm just writing some notes here after this presentation, and how difficult it is to see all the great work that you all do, here in my southern accent, that you do to make school more attainable for our students and more enjoyable. I just want, with all you here, we usually have 2 or 3 people in a crowd, and with all you here, I just want to make it very clear that I, as a member of this board, will be very transparent on where we stand financially and what we are going to do with your cooperation, with your help, to try to get us back to where we should be and get out of this hole that we are in right now. And I can see that with that presentation today, that the effort that is put forth by the staff is unbelievable. And now I know why Hibbing students are the best taught students in the state of Minnesota, because you care a great deal. And again, it's not a political speech, it's just the way I am. I will not hold anything back. If you have a question, concern about where we're going as a board and how we're going to do things, I'll be glad to answer them if I can. If not, I'll put you in connection with the person that can, and that we are doing our best. We've been hit with a double whammy here with a superintendent leaving. We had a financial leave. We have issues with the school that need to be addressed, and those issues aren't easy. But again, with your help and the board's understanding of where we should go, I think we can get through this. It's going to be, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and pretty soon we're going to be able to find it. So I just want to make that very clear on my part. The other board, and I believe that this board, my fellow members will feel the same way. So, thank you.
You're welcome. And I can speak for the rest of the members too, I think. We're all in this boat together, so we'll keep it, do the best we can. Thank you all. Committee.
Oh, yes.
Any committee reports?
Well, just to follow up too, you got me going, so. I just want to compliment on who's ever put together that, I watched I don't do Facebook, but I watched it the other day of our candidates for King Queen that walked through the Lincoln. I think it's great that you give those young kids an opportunity to see what they can look forward to, and just the enthusiasm they have. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I know you do it for our prom and for Jubilee and other things, and whenever a team goes to a state tournament. So whoever puts that together, we do a great job. And I hope we can continue doing it.
Thank you. With that, we'll move to item 5, motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Moved by Director Polter, excuse me. Seconded by Director Kim. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. That will move to item 6, a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Chair will support. Moved by Mike, Director Berklich. Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Carrie, per your email that you had sent out to the board members, are we for number 1 and 2 that you have under H, are we not filling those? Is that my understanding? So I wasn't sure if they then needed to be on here as a posting, or if they should have been removed. So can you clarify?
So they were posted,
Okay.
and the posting did close. Mr. Lutzka and I spoke after our recent understanding of our financial situation that we were going to postpone the interviews for those. And, you know, I think yesterday in my email I stated that we were not going to fill those positions. I think after further discussion between Mr. Lutzka and I, we are going to have a meeting with the Greenhaven staff and then discuss with the Washington staff to see if we can still meet the needs of our students without anything else.
So pending.
Pending.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. With that, we'll move to item 7, administrative business. Item 8, Super Gary.
Item A is the item from the addendum, a motion to adopt a resolution releasing local commitment of OPEB designated funds. Background to that information is that we have a $4 million committed fund for OPEB, which is retiree health. I'm going to explain in my presentation how this is going to be utilized in our plan for fiscal 26 and fiscal 27. It will not affect retiree health.
So, resolution releasing local commitment of OPEB designated funds. Whereas the school board previously made local decisions to commit general fund dollars as well as interest generated from committed dollars to meet the school district's obligations for separation, retirement, and other post-employment benefits, otherwise known as OPEB. Whereas as of January 1, 2026, the balance of the committed funds was $4,183,759. And whereas the school board has determined that releasing the previously committed OPEB funds to be beneficial and necessary to address the school district's ongoing funding challenges. Now, therefore, be resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 701 as follows. 1, the school board hereby releases its previous commitment of general fund dollars for OPEB purposes. 2, consistent with the school board's decision to release its previous commitment of the fund, the school board hereby approves a transfer of all funds currently committed to the general fund for OPEB purposes pursuant to previous school board local action to be used for unrestricted general fund purposes. I will move to support that. Do you have any seconds?
I'll second.
Moved by Director Jeff, supported by Director Sarah. Any discussion?
I just want to let people know that the Finance Committee met on Friday and we discussed this, so this is not, we did dive into this and like Carrie said, she'll be giving a presentation as to why this is on our agenda today.
Very good. With that, I'll do a roll call. Director Walter?
Yes.
Director White?
Yes.
Director Sarah?
Yes.
Director Ken?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Thank you.
Next item is a motion to approve the contract between Hibbing Public Schools and Soliant for physical therapy virtual services effective February 9th, 2026 through June 12th, 2026.
All vote.
Support.
Moved by Director Polter, supported by Director Glotman. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've got lots of questions today. So I looked at this, and I guess two questions. What does a virtual session for physical therapy look like?
I'm going to ask our special ed director Nathan to maybe describe what that would look like.
It's something we haven't done before. We've used virtual services for speech in the past, and we haven't been able to find in-person services. But basically what we're trying to do is we're going to go to a more of an indirect model where our PT meets with teams and provides guidance and information on what they can do in person. So it's more of a consultation type thing. And the hope is that doing this, we might be able to reduce our costs in that area by doing it more indirect.
So this is not necessarily a virtual session, the therapist with the student?
It can be, but there's somebody else on our side helping with that. So it's kind of a three-person, can be a three-person. A lot of these students have peer support or adult support that's within the classroom or in different specialist rooms. So that's how we're going to do it. But we are going to kind of look at meeting with this person beforehand, before they start, and kind of ironing that out. Yeah.
And I know, we're committed to a certain number of hours for this contract, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, but we prior used choice therapy. So is this at the same or less or cheaper cost than what we were paying?
I can tell you the long version or short version, but I'll try to keep it as short as I can. As far as the rates are comparable to what virtual in-person is for a contracted service. Trace was giving us a really good rate, but that was going to change significantly to be able to pay their bills and things like that. So
no, it's more expensive.
Then
It's
choice.
okay to say that,
It
but
is.
but I just-
Yes and no, because it's more expensive now, but we're hoping it will be less expensive by reducing the amount of services directly that we provide. But yeah, choice was if they had 3 people, we're down to 2 potentially. So
Sure.
yeah.
And we did post for this position.
Yeah, a lot of stories, we did a lot of those things, and we stuck with the budgetary amount that we would offer people. So some people did turn us down, and so now we were kind of left with either going with nothing till the end of the year, or going with a virtual. So.
Is
that an option? I mean, I was concerned too when I saw over 18 weeks and what that ended up being. I mean, is going with nothing an option?
It is, but, I mean, you're not providing the service that we're required to, so there's a risk of that, yeah. And I think we had gone long enough with doing that, so.
Then you asked that question, no, I understand. Thank you. Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you.
Next item is the appointment by the chair of 2 directors to sign and distribute the 2026 high school diplomas.
And at this time, I appointed myself. I've done this before many times, but this will be my last one, 31st year, and Director Polster too. And as a sidebar, if anybody on the board wants to do a special thing for a elderly relative or something, I think we can make that happen too. Okay,
The next item is a motion to rescind the approval of Carrie McDonald, acting superintendent, and Kim McLaughlin, board treasurer, as account signers with the following depositories of Wells Fargo Bank, Security State Bank, and Park State Bank.
So moved.
Support.
moved by Director Kim, supported by Director Jeff. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carried, thank you.
Next is a motion to approve Carrie McDonald, acting superintendent, and Kim McLaughlin, board treasurer, as account signers with the following depositories: Wells Fargo, Security State Bank, Park State Bank, and National Bank of Commerce.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Director Jeff, supported by Director Sarah. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next motion will be for that right there. Don't show that in
Do
minutes.
we have to do the motion on the diplomas? Done, I can just get that.
Is it a motion or just an appointment?
Just a moment.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now we are on discussion. You ready?
Now we'll go to item 8. I'll turn that over to Carrie.
So I'm going to start out with a presentation on our fiscal '26 budget, and then we will come back to the table to have a discussion on our fiscal '27 budget. Maybe. Okay, so I am here to provide a financial update as of today. Little bit of background information. This is our unassigned general fund balance going back to 2009. You can see that in 2017, we were at over $9 million in our fund balance. After the audit this year, we are at approximately $20,000 in our unassigned fund balance. This is the budget that the board adopted in June of 2025. Long story short, if you look in the lower right corner, the budget that was passed shows about a $334,000 surplus. So I am here today to kind of give everybody an up-to-date message on our current financial situation and the challenges that we face. During our audit process, the school board was alerted to concerns related to internal control practices. At that time, it prompted us to do a comprehensive internal and external review of our district's financial position. That is what has taken place in the month of January and through today, and continues to take place. This review revealed that our revenue projections were overstated by about $833,000. Our expenditure projections were understated by approximately $1.137 million, which leads us to an approximate $2 million budget variance. Again, I want everyone to understand that we are still reviewing all of this information and making sure that we are giving our best
analysis of where we're at. What were the factors that drove the revisions that we're looking at? One of the primary things was ADMs. The adopted projection was about 2144 students.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Can you, for the sake of the audience at home, let them know what ADM says?
Yes, average daily membership, thank you. It's
Well-
the number of students. The revised projection is about 2,097 students, which is a decrease of about 46 students. That results in a lot of lost funding from the state and the federal level. The revenue reductions that we identified were based off of basic skills aid reductions. To explain that, there were preliminary compensatory aid, basic skills aid, compensatory aid projections that were given in January of last year. They were revised, and this information projected our reduction in revenue. The state aid and the categorical aids are all tied to our enrollment and the projection that we use versus our projection. Some expenditure increases to explain those. Staff development costs that were not previously budgeted. I'm going to explain that because it doesn't mean that we had a ton of staff development or people going to different places. What it means is that when the union votes to give the staff development dollars back to the district, we charge those to what are called salary chargebacks. And that was not done in the budget, so the revenue was accounted for, but the salary chargebacks were not accounted for. Some other items include overtime, salary and benefit cost adjustments. We hired many paras back due to student need, we needed to do that. We had planned to use our medical assistant funds to be able to cover those hire backs, and found just recently that those funds had already been accounted for in the revenue side of things. And then some increases in insurance, unemployment, and work comp costs. Again, this analysis is continually being looked at. So what is the district focused on now? Our focus right now is stabilizing and addressing our current fiscal year, building a responsible, balanced budget for next year, rebuilding our systems, our processes, and our trust with our staff and our community. We aim to restore long-term financial stability for our district, and I believe strongly we're going to get there. We're approaching this work being transparent, which is why we are sharing all of this information. We are collaborating with internal and external financial experts and plan to provide regular updates throughout the process. So there is a plan to stabilize this year. Part of that plan happened already with board action. So step one was to release the committed OPEB funds, the $4 million. And we would use those funds to stabilize. We believe that this action is in alignment with what the audit, review, and corrective action plan was. It gives us liquidity without having to borrow to meet cash flow. And it allows the district to correct current year budget issues responsibly. We are going to take $2 million, approximately $2 million, of that $4 million and offset fiscal year 26. So we were short, if you remember from the previous slides, we're short about $2 million. We're going to use $2 million of the $4 million to cover that shortfall. Okay? We also need to make long-term corrections, and that's what we're focused on as well. So what happens to the remaining $2 million? Okay? We still have to make major budget adjustments. If we don't, we would face another $2 million shortfall. If we don't make any reductions and we move forward into next year, assuming no increase in cost anywhere, we will eat up the remaining $2 million. So what are the factors that we're looking at when we're looking at fiscal year '27? Annually, our health insurance increase cost to the district has been approximately $600,000. So that means looking into, we use that $2 million, we have nothing left and we have to pay an extra $600,000 roughly for health insurance. That's assuming we have the same rate as last year. Movement on steps and lanes is a rough estimate of about $400,000. And then we still are working on contract settlements. We will meet with Hugh tomorrow, and we want to make sure that that process is thoughtful. What that means is if you take the $2 million and you look at the not making any cuts, if we didn't make any cuts, that would be gone. That leaves us with nothing in reserve. And that's a situation that would be very concerning because we could go into statutory operating debt. It is not something that we want to experience. So initial estimates for reductions for next year are $2 million, but we also have to take into consideration any increase in contract settlements. I hope you know me well enough that that statement is not a negotiation tactic. It is absolutely not. It is the reality of where we're at. And I want to be open and honest about everything. There's no time for games to be played with anybody. Our message to our community and to our staff is that we remain committed to providing high-quality educational opportunities while doing the necessary work to restore financial stability and trust in our district. And we will get there. Board members, have any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
I know that one of the questions that I keep hearing from staff is when will the board know, when will staff know truly what those reductions look like?
So now that we know where we are, we can start the work of really focusing in on what those reductions will look like for next year. I would anticipate, similar to last year, that April would be the time where we would make the board-approved reductions. If we can figure things out prior to that, that would be great, because the sooner people can find out, the less anxiety everybody has, and we can all move forward together. It is going to be a very difficult few months for everybody. And please know that I don't take any of this work lightly. These are really hard decisions that affect people's lives, and I understand that. And I hope that we can get to a place where we are in a stable time and we don't have to worry about these kinds of things. Any other questions?
I think the other thing I have to make clear is that we are looking at other options of how we're going to save money and how we're going to maybe, I'll give an example. We're closing the old pool. We're saving $80,000 a year by doing that. There's going to be other things I think that are going to come up that the board will be presented with, that will present it to you of what steps that we are going to take. I, for one, if you start operating in an operating debt, the state of Minnesota says, okay, we're taking over. I sure the hell don't want that. Sorry, I sure don't want that to happen to this district. You have too much 100 years of pride in this district, and I just don't want to see that happen. So, again, I reiterate, we're doing what we can, what we feel is best to get this district back on its feet and get it where it should be.
That's called SOD, statutory operating debt. The state would give you a certain time to come clean and balanced, or they'll take over and tell us what to do. And it's one thing we want to avoid, what Director Mike was saying.
I'd just like to echo what everybody is saying. This is not the position any of us hoped to be in or anticipated being in. We're all in it together. We're all working really hard. And I guess if there's any silver lining in all of this, that it wasn't June, July, or August of 26 that we found out about all this. So we're able to take some measures and do the best we can. And so I'm confident too that we will get our reserves back up to the board required 8% of our general fund balance. It's not going to be easy, but I'm confident we'll do it, and I appreciate all of the work. And my commitment is to try to keep cuts away from the classrooms as much as we possibly can. So that's my wish.
When it squelched rumors, about schools being closed and we're gonna sell certain buildings and do different things, I don't think that's gonna be something that we can not avoid. It's something that we have to look at. And that's based on the number of students that we have, how many students we've lost, the cost of how much to take to operate those buildings, and then what would best benefit the district, what buildings we keep. So these are just issues that are going to come up, and as tough as it is to hear, for us to survive, these are things that we're going to have to do.
I'd like to echo what Mike said. I mean, don't believe anything you read on social media. Don't believe all this gossip going around town. No decisions have been made. We've got some tough decisions to make in the future. I'm open to suggestions. I think all of us are. If you've got an idea of saving $10, tell us, because pennies add up. But it's going to be some tough cuts. It's going to be painful for all of us. But we're going to do the best we can to get through this. We will get through it. You got to mark my word on it, because every board member here is committed to make this district the best it is. And with the help of our staff, we're going to do that.
And I want to thank Carrie and all of the administrative team, all of the staff, and all of the internal and external resources. I mean, these last 3 weeks, I feel like Carrie's been the superintendent for years. What she's jumped into hasn't missed a beat. And the amount of time and effort that have gone into literally peeling back the layers of the onion, it's been unbelievable but necessary. So I just can't thank the hours. And Nathan, I know he's been here long hours, going through everything with a fine-tooth comb, so thank you.
Well, as Jeff said too, we received an email last week from a former staff member with some ideas. So being that you're on the front line, you can kind of see where we're at. If you feel that you have something that you'd like to express to us, please do. Don't hold back. I mean, we're all in this together right now, and for us to succeed, we need to come up with the right answers to do it. And it doesn't hurt to get feedback from everybody on it.
Yes, absolutely. And that, email me, call me. I think everyone has my cell phone, text me. So the next item under discussion is to talk briefly about fiscal year '27. We know that we are anticipating about $2 million in cuts, and so I am looking for some direction from the board on 2 items, because I think it's really going to, the guidance that we get on these is going to help us focus on 1 or 2 areas that we need to put our plan together. And so I would like direction from the board on if we are continuing to pursue the 4-day week, or if you prefer that we focus on something else. And then the other item I'm looking for direction from the board is, are we to be looking at the closing / sale, hopefully, of a building to support the reductions, if we have enough space to be able to do that.
I think I'd like to see the numbers of potential savings in a 4-day week, whether it's justified.
Well, it's $250,000 is the basic number that I have gotten. There might be a little bit more savings. I wouldn't anticipate it would be much over $50,000.
And the savings in closing a school.
Well,
That's,
I
I mean, it's hard to
priced,
quantify.
Yeah.
But
we're looking at over $400,000. And that's not taking into account, you know, if there would be any reductions in teaching staff, which I don't necessarily anticipate teaching staff reductions based on closing a building. But it's
so what would include utilities?
utilities,
Maintenance.
custodials, administrative assistant nurse, supplies, building maintenance, administrator. So it's over
Seems to be a lot
400.
more than that.
What are the utilities in that building? Do you know?
Tyler has approximately 55,000.
Last year, that's what they
Could we get that all bundled up?
And then,
and
yeah, like, I would
scrutinized?
like to know like the fixed cost of the building, and then like maybe
Just
staffing. That seems like,
Whoa.
well,
But, okay, so I feel like we have talked about this a couple times and we keep pushing it off. I think Carrie needs an answer, I think our staff needs an answer, we need to move forward. I think whatever number comes up, it's not gonna matter. We either know that we need to do it or we don't, and we're at a point where we need to do it. So I think we can't afford to keep putting it off. I think she's asking this, we need to make a decision today. I'm gonna say no to the 4-day, and I'm gonna say yes to close the green evening.
I would like to look at, not to quote the hornet's nest again, but if we don't work with the city of Hibbing, why do we pay $89,000 a year for a memorial building for 20 hockey games? It's ridiculous.
I have met with the city, we are negotiating contracts, but I can tell you, the city savings, whatever that will be, is not going, like, we still have to.
I know it's not gonna make a difference,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, and we pay $10,000 for our students to park in the parking lot a year?
So we can definitely still look at that, and we should.
Yeah, but if we're gonna sell a building, why not get with the city and say, hey, look, we got a great building, we just put a ton of money into, be a great facility, maybe it's something that they could use to promote what they wanna do within the city.
And if we choose to close the building and put it up for sale, I believe that we will explore all avenues of all possible buyers in that case. Closing the Greenhaven is the last thing I want to do. My best years of being in education were at the Greenhaven, High School, Greenhaven rocks.
I was there when it was being built.
do we have the room? Do we know, like, I feel the same way. I don't believe we have a plan for a 4-day week that is comprehensive enough to move forward. I think there are other components, there are other collective bargaining agreements. I just feel like there is too much unknown and students' academic first, I guess. And we've heard a lot of qualitative data, but not quantitative data with that. But as far as closing a building, I guess I'd like more numbers as well. And if we can close it, if we can sell it, and there's not a lot of cost associated with whatever it takes to winterize, shut down, drain, whatever the right words are, building, that's one thing.
I mean, we just voted on to release that $4 million because we are at a point where we have to do everything we can. And now we're gonna sit here and talk about keeping a building open that we don't necessarily need. Derek talked about having the space at the high school. We know that the space here is not being utilized. We know that we have a conversation coming up with Chisholm and what that looks like. I mean, if we're willing to dive into a $4 million bucket that we shouldn't be touching, and we're doing that, why are we gonna go ahead and extend ourselves in areas that we know that we don't need? All because it is emotional to some people because they've taught there, or their kids have gone there. I mean, I feel like if we're making tough decisions, and that's what we're talking about, we have to make those tough decisions and not keep pushing them down the road. It doesn't help by elongating the wait.
We have to go through a process if we put up a building for sale, with the
Yes.
state rules and the city taxes and.
I'd like to be able to see, not that we're pushing it down the road, I want to see what the numbers are, what we're gonna do with the students if we sell that school. But I want to do it now, I don't want to wait till April to make a decision.
would you like me to come back to the next board meeting with kind of an analysis of what grades could fit where, room-wise?
That would be ideal.
And the other thing is, you know, do we have the room to do it, whether it's here, at the Washington, or at the Lincoln? And I don't want to have to push an entity out of a building that they're using, 808, and for their program, because we don't have the room for them, because we need that room for the students, because we're closing the school. I don't want to see that happen.
I went through 2 school closings, Todd Cook, excuse me, the Jefferson. And a few years went by there wasn't enough room. They had to remodel all these schools, there's the laboratories and lines were running good then too. And there's a chance of the line in Nashville coming up, so. But we ended up spending more money after that because you closed it. And that didn't make any sense, so we.
But I think the schools that we have right now between the Washington, the Lincoln, and the high school, we've done enough work on them to make them available so that if we have to integrate more kids into that, reduce some restructuring, that we should be able to do it. So I agree with you. I think the sale of one of the schools, and unfortunately, Greenhaven keeps coming up, and
That's the cheapest one.
it's probably the cheapest one, but it's still probably, we just sunk a ton of money into it, so it's a very attractive piece to sell.
I
am against the 4-day week. I want the 5 day week.
I have been in contact with someone who's been working with the IRRR to find out, like, the $2.5 million that we put into the Greenhaven was a grant from the IRRR, and we are working under the understanding that if we did sell the building, we would hope that we would be able to take that $2.5 million and use it in another building to support the realignment, which would be very helpful.
When you look at it, it'd be a great community center for this community. The city keeps squawking, community center, doing something. It's set up perfect for them.
So Carrie, are you saying that, I'm just gonna put a number on this, because the tax value, I think the market value on the tax statement's about 5.4 million, okay? So are you saying if we have a buyer and they're willing to pay $5 million for it, that market value has not been increased since the additional upgrades, and I don't know if it will be, but are you saying the IRRB would allow us basically to reuse that $2.5 million, so if we had to upgrade one of our other buildings to accommodate?
That is our hope, that is what I'm working on, the possibility of it, and I feel positive. I know Tyler was part of those conversations as well. So basically, let's just say it was sold for $5 million. $2.5 million of that would have to be most likely in this agreement with IRRR if this is what we come to an agreement of. You put back into a building as that cost.
Okay, see, and I'm thinking different. I'm saying, okay, we would sell for $5 million because that's the market value.
Yeah.
And then we would get the $2.5 million in the grant money to reuse. So basically, the party that's purchasing it is going to get the benefit of the grant and not us.
Well, we don't have to pay back $2 million once the building sells to the IRRB. They're allowing us to reuse it to our own building.
And there's been no conversation about price with the one interested party we currently have.
So,
well, I want to get this done as quick as we can. I'd like to get the numbers put together so we can see where we're at. We do have a meeting coming up with Chisholm. That could bear a little weight on what direction we're going to go and how we're going to do it. But again, I don't think we need to wait until another 3 months to decide what we're going to do. We need to get off that proverbial pot and get going.
Well,
Give it a month.
the staff needs to know what we're doing.
Yep.
And so, you know, if you're okay with it, Tyler's been working on possibility of finding us a commercial appraisal. I think that would be important to do. That's kind of the next step that the people that we've been speaking to are interested in. And so I think that's probably our next step.
I wouldn't do that though unless everybody
Yes.
votes. So again, are we gonna wait or are we voting? That's on everybody here.
I'd like to wait till we get some more numbers that are gonna put together. Jeff?
I want to just do it as quickly as we can, get some numbers crunched.
I have
As far as
numbers.
space-
I
But as
mean,
far as space,
oh, space numbers, yes. I mean,
we need to.
I do believe that we will have the space. So, you know, I've got numbers for what we would save in the building at a minimum. And then, you know, preliminarily, we've looked at classrooms, had conversations. In my mind, if we're gonna do something like this, I want the configuration to have the opportunity for growth in some areas. I don't wanna stuff enough kids in, let's just say the Washington, that there's no room for growth. Because I would love to see a day where we have increased enrollment and we're able to do that.
I think we need to get those numbers and get appraisal of the property. If there's a cost anything for appraisal, does it?
It does.
Mike?
Derek, can I get your opinion on this, please? On space at the high school right now?
We have space at the high school. The biggest issue at the high school will be, depending on how many kids we have, will be lunch, gym space, and that kind of stuff for specialists. That'll be the biggest thing, depending on how many grades we have here, or what we bring in here. The biggest issue for us right now is that we started registration for next year. So we need to get this rolling, because if we're bringing on classes next year, we need to get those kind of bits, so we need to get more.
So
So you
put
two
that,
would work together? on
yeah,
that?
that's what I was gonna say, get that together with the numbers.
My opinion, if you could give me the information in a couple of weeks, so I have everything before we go to Chisholm to meet with them, I think that if I, give me 2 weeks to get everything put together, and I think at that
What about
time,
the week after that meeting, just in case something comes?
the week after that meeting, that's fine. I don't want to sit here and think that we're dragging our tail. I want to get it done. I want to.
First board meeting after that.
It's only fair for
Well,
staff.
okay, so the Chisholm meeting is after our next board meeting. I think if I can get you information before the next board meeting, it would be good. Because otherwise, we're into March, and it's too late to start this week.
I'll rescind my
Sorry.
message. Give me the information in 2 weeks. Let's take it, put it together, make a decision what we're gonna do. Whether or not we close it or open it or sell it or whatever we do that, in my mind right now, that will not bear on what we do with Chisholm.
And I don't think it makes sense to talk about the Lincoln. I don't think it does, but I just want to ask the question.
Actually works out nice for all facilities, all the facilities we do, living with a walking distance. So if you did need to utilize spaces on the building, walking for some students, you do it.
And if we sell for $6 million, that gives $1 million to fix up the Lincoln a little bit, make it a little more.
Well, we'd have to put $2.5 million probably into the Lincoln to satisfy the IHSR.
I don't think that would be a problem. would it? No.
And again, please know everyone, none of these decisions are taken lightly. This is really tough stuff to digest but unfortunately, it's February and we have got to get things in line so we can reduce anxiety and have a plan because there's a lot that would go into this.
The other thing I'd ask is, you know, we've always said academics first, and I'm sorry, but $90,000 for ice time. I'm interested, last year I was told that Chisholm would host our ice activities for the neighborhood of 20,000, is what I was told. I don't know if that's true. That's a teacher. Teacher. I'd just be curious, cost comparison.
And I think, you know, James and Tyler and I have had some conversations. We need to do a lot of researching. We did buy some time with our lease with the city. We agreed that we would contact them again in April to start the negotiations, and that gives us time for everything else that we're working through and figuring out where the other cuts are before we have to make a call on that.
It'd be nice like Hermantown to get a sponsor to build you a nice little ice arena. use it for your high school and you wouldn't
I'd
have
like
to
a
worry about paying
sponsor to
$90.
keep our teachers.
What we do get is,
We could have
like
back
90,000 a year for ice. How much of that would be inclusive ticket sales?
Well, they will say that we get revenue through the ticket sales, but if we were, and I'm not, please, on record, I am not saying that we are moving our hockey games, but we get the revenue somewhere else as well.
Can I ask a question? I don't know if that's allowed. Is that okay?
Sure.
If you speak
Okay,
louder,
so-
yeah, the TV can face the TV and.
Come up here, Jen.
My question is this, so if we're looking at any way of saving money, including anywhere we could even save $10, that was one of the things we're thinking about. Looking at a 4-day school week, which I can tell you most of us teachers are not thrilled about because of the social emotional component of it. But looking at test scores and academic growth in students, they're showing that those are very comparable. So my question to you becomes, $250,000 savings just on busing. That's not counting the amount of subs that we're going to save on, because most of the teachers in the district, I know, don't like to miss time with their students. They're gonna plan their appointments and such on Fridays. We're gonna save a ton on subs. That is how many teachers, $250,000? That's 3 teachers that we're talking about right there. Right now, I have 24 students in my class. They're amazing kids, but it's a busy room. If we cut any teachers and I have 32 to 35 students, the amount of learning that's gonna happen is nil compared to if I had them for 4 days a week with those smaller numbers. The amount of education I could get in them, bonding, the way they could grow with me is 100 times better. And I think shoving anything out the window right now, when we're looking at saving $10, is something we really need to contemplate. So I guess my question is there something we as the educators have to put together saying, this is what a 4-day school week would look like, this is how it could be beneficial, before we completely say no to something? That's my
I
question.
think you should do that, thank you very much.
Yeah.
3 minutes are up, but that would be
Just to
taken
follow
into
up.
consideration.
Just to follow up, I have looked at a lot of the national information that's out there about 4-day weeks versus a 5-day week. So this is not something I just jumped into because I think the 5-day week is the best way to go because we've always done it that way. So the numbers are out there to show what is best, whether it's a 4-day week or a 5-day week. You can even look at some of the local schools around here that go to a 4-day week and the problems that they have. So it's not something I just jumped into and just said, well, yeah, I like a 5-day week. So, I know you have.
I think all of us have.
have looked at.
When we say nothing is an easy decision, and that this isn't, we talked about it once, we talked about it twice. I mean, everything we're talking about has been months. It isn't, it's not quick. So, I'm sorry that staff is feeling that way because you're here today and we're talking, and I know we got lots of emails from people, and I know I was honest in my replies, but again, nothing that we're talking about and deciding on is a quick, rash decision. We have looked and discussed in depth about things, so whether you want to accept that or understand that is your choice, but again, we are on the same side, even if sometimes with that choice, it may not feel like it.
Can we get some together for that?
Well, I just want to make a comment about the 4-day week, okay? I believe that we need to go back to our community for a referendum. And I believe in order to do that, we need to build trust with our community. And I am concerned that going to a 4-day week is going to prohibit that trust. I understand where staff is at completely, but I think we need to focus this year on getting financially stable, building trust with the community, and then looking at a referendum. If we have to consider a 4-day week a year from now because we are in a different situation, I would understand that, but I'll be honest with you, my feeling is right now that we need to focus on rebuilding trust with the community, and I'm concerned a 4-day week would prohibit that.
And I opposed 4-day week, then I go back the other way because there's just so many different variables that come into play on that. One of them that everybody around us is good. And I'm afraid that we'll lose some students to other districts just because of the 4-day. We've lost so many kids already because of PSEO, which, don't even get me going on that because that's killing public education. But we have to look at every way we can. We change the students that we have, hopefully getting some other students added. I like kids, but.
May I ask a question?
I don't think we can have any more comments right now.
A question? I'm going to retire. I'm worried about that $4 million that you're taking for OPEB. There are a lot of us that are concerned about that. That money is there for a reason, and I just would like a little bit more explanation.
That is a very good question, so I'd be happy to answer that. So we actually levy for retiree health. We pay as we go. So that is not, that money was set aside in maybe a time where we weren't doing the levy pay as you go for retiree health. So this should not affect the future of retiree health.
Is that guaranteed, Carrie? I mean, it's going to affect a lot of us. Is it a guarantee that because we have that money for a reason? I understand now that you pay as you go, but $4 million that was set aside for that, now that's gone completely and it's spent other places. I'm concerned about that. I've been teaching for 35 years and I've paid into the program, so that all of these people have. So that's a concern.
But I think that, and that's a valid concern, but I think that my understanding is that committed fund balance is something the board did when there was an accounting standard change. And at that time, school districts could either levy or pay as you go. So Hibbing opted pay as you go, which I think in our operating budget is about $2 million a year. But at that time, the district did not have to commit those funds, but the board opted to. And you know what? I'm going to be perfectly honest. It kills me to decommit those funds. It kills me too. But that the money for our current retiree OPEB comes out of our operating budget. What is concerning is, as if that number goes up too high, right, then it's all the other general fund expenditures that are hit.
And without that, we would be looking at 5 to 6 million in cuts next year.
I appreciate the clarification, but thank you for your time.
The state only did that for that one time too.
Yep.
And we still have the option that we always paid as we went. And then the board that you were on, and myself, we voted to go to put more money into that.
Yep,
So
the interest on the earnings added to it. It was like about 3 something.
And again, I would encourage anybody that wants to discuss anything more. I'll stay after, I'll talk.
Yeah.
I just got one last thing to say again.
because I didn't give you a chance before.
I know, I understand that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I've spoken too much today. Concerning the 4 and 5 day, if we do our job right, if we get your help from you and the feedback from you, and we do our job right to make sure that this district maintains what it should, we should be able, whether it's a 4-day or a 5-day, get the numbers down in your classrooms that you as a staff are comfortable with. We have the room to do it. We have to jockey some things around to make sure that we can accomplish it, and we'll do it. But I mean, right now, my biggest concern is keeping this district afloat. And right now, we in deep water trying to tread and get above it. So.
Okay, well, we'll take all this into consideration. There's 1,000 questions, 500 answers maybe.
Send those emails to Mr. Berklich if you want to send them to me.
Yeah, that's spelled M-I-K-E.
I don't have email.
Okay, thank you all for coming.
Motion to adjourn.
Without objection, motion, the meeting's adjourned. It's 4:50.
And I will stay.
Hibbing Public Access TV may be viewed on these platforms: hpat.org with video on demand, Mediacom Hibbing 802, 805, and 807. On Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Download the Hibbing Public Access TV app for your iPhone and Android devices. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo. For more information, scan the QR code and go to hpat.org. Hibbing Public Access Television would like to thank MediaCom for all the years they have supported our organization. Visit their office at 3105 East Beltline, Suite Number 2 here in Hibbing, and give them a call at 855-633-4226. For over 25 years, U.S. Bank, located at 211 East Howard Street in Hibbing, Minnesota, has provided office and studio space for Hibbing Public Access Television. We are thankful for their ongoing support.